He and his partner had been together for many years, but it wasn't until, according to theadvocate.org, that May 15th of 2008 that they were able to be married and have that marriage recognized by the state of California. Now, due to the passing of Prop 8, they worry whether their efforts and ceremonies have been in vain. Many people believe that marriage should only exist between the sexes, but I am here today to endorse the American patriots that seek equality under the law in California and across the United States. First, we will explore the history of marriage and the evolution of equality. Then we will look at the causes, bigotry and fear, and the effects, subtle persecution and demoralization of the GLBTs. And finally, I will give you the solution, the opening of our hearts and minds while persuading our government to do the same. So that we can get an idea of how far marriage has come, let us look at the history of marriage and the evolution of equality. The history of marriage actually sheds a lot of light on why the GLBTs feel that they have had their cross to bear. Once reserved only for the royalty and wealthy, marriage has been historically filled with restrictions. According to Spartacus Education, these restrictions have been placed for different reasons. Reasons such as race, gender, and social status, and even in some cases prejudice and fear. Even after the abolishment of slavery, the blacks weren't allowed to be married. They were only allowed to be common law. According to the term defined by the Encyclopedia Britannica, this term, common law, refers to any commoners who were denied a formal ceremony or their marriage to be recognized by the state. In 1965, a law similar to Prop 8 was up for vote. As published in U.S. News and World Report, this law was passed by 65% of the voters. This law legalized discrimination racially in the selling and renting of housings, but it was later overturned by the Supreme Court. From Emancipation Proclamation to Women's Lib, we have all fought for our right to equality in the land where every man is created equal and has the right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and justice for all. Yet we are still denied. Emancipation might have freed the slaves, but it did nothing for their human rights. As reported on the UN.org, it wasn't until 1948 and the passing of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that Article 16 declared that men and women of full age, without limitation due to race, gender, or nationality, have the right to be married and found a family. One also need look no further than the 1970s and 80s, as the film Milk has so aptly brought into focus Anita Bryant's crusade to keep the GLBTs from the workforce and from roles of responsibility in our schools. Her initiative passed in some states but faded as voters realized and appreciated the contributions and civil rights of the GLBTs. As history shows, we've all had our cross to bear, and the GLBTs are tired of carrying that particular cross. They have fought the fight, won the right, but yet are still denied today. What are the causes of denying someone of their civil rights? Well, as quoted in the Advocate magazine in 2008, some are afraid that if marriage is not between the sexes, then the natural order of the universe shall be disrupted. Others, in Politics magazine, are quoted as being afraid that the fear of degradation and the institution of marriage itself. Historically, the effects of legislated exclusion and morality have been the creation of a privileged class and the other a marginalized second class of expendables. Tim Sharbaugh, in an interview in Palm Springs, remembers Germany in the 1930s and 40s to look at that outcome and see that political bent. Isolation and demoralization were only the beginning. Attorney General Jerry Brown once lobbied against same-sex marriage. Today, as quoted in U.S. News and World Report, he fights against Prop 8, saying that this touches at the heart of our democracy. As we examine our emotions and actions, we can see that most have been based in fear, and that fear and snap judgments haven't done anyone any good. The solution to the injustice that is Prop 8 lies in our hearts and minds. Yes, open-mindedness and health do go hand in hand. Bigotry and fear can reduce one's lifespan. As reported on WebMD, happy, stress-free people do actually live longer lives. Bigotry and fear may also reduce the quality of life that one is given. So let us take action and let our voices be heard today. By signing your name to this postcard that I give you at the end of my speech, you can let your voice of democracy be heard. And we can follow Jerry Brown's lead and not supporting Prop 8 simply because it unconstitutionally discriminates against same-sex couples and robs them of their fundamental right to marry. We have seen today how far the history of marriage and equality have come. I've showed you the causes of bigotry and fear and how they lead to the exclusion and demoralization of the GLBTs. Finally, I've left the solution in your hands. So in conclusion, I urge you today to see marriage through the eyes of a fourth grader who during elections time said, if two people or two things love each other, why shouldn't they be married? Thank you.